All right, excellent. Looks like sound might be back now. So uh, let's get started here. Let me just bring this up here. Like sound might be back. All right, great. All right, guys. So again, for those on YouTube, thank you for the patience. Welcome to the pre-market show. So let's get right into it. We're looking at BABA. BAB8 is up 2.4 this morning. 236,000 shares traded so far. So again, just as usual, we're going to see this pattern in a lot of stocks right throughout the day today. Right, we have the big drop and just kind of the huge sell-off has been happening with the SPY the last couple of days. And you're going to see probably several stocks going to have this little bit of a bounce today, right? So this one is a little more than 2%, 2.4 at the moment. This is one that I don't like to trade. I just don't like the way the price action is. But this morning looks very active. And the activity actually for the type of stock this is, the pre-market activity actually looks pretty decent. So again, it doesn't do much on normal days. So this actually looks pretty good for BABA. So that's in play today. Next we have AMD. AMD is also up 3.1. I'm sure it's doing a bounce from yesterday. Let's look at the daily. Again, just kind of that same pattern, right, of the sell-off in the market over the last couple of days. Just this huge drop, and now here you have an kind of like a bounce back day, somewhat. Look at the number of shares to trade on AMD, 4.1 million. So this thing is really cranking today, this morning. Pre-market action. Looking very decent here after 7:30. You can see the volume coming in and really getting a lot of activity on there. So AMD looks good. Also, daily's bouncing off this 28 level we had. Look at how nice this is. Prior resistance. Let me just remove these levels. There you go. It's a lot cleaner. So prior resistance here. You can see finally breaks down. This becomes a beautiful support area right around this level over here. Good morning, Norm. How you doing today?
I'm good, Carlos. Sorry for being a little bit late. Had some issues with my son, but we're all good to go. How are
No,
you?
no worries. We're good. We actually have not missed much because we've been having some mic issues since I disconnected it for the meetings. But it looks like we're back
All
ready to
right.
go. So here we have AMD again, a nice volume, a bounce back there as well as we just saw in BABA. I expect this list is going to get very big. Maybe not as yesterday, but it's going to get very big as we get closer towards the 9:30 mark. Next we have on here is GSKY. So GSKY. Now this one is clearly has got something going on. This was down 21%, 124,000 shares traded so far. Let's take a look at what the pre-market action looks like. Not all that great right now. And again, just could be because the volume is not there yet. But this is a big drop. It is a lower price stock though. We're looking at trading around $8. Let me see what the flow is on this one. Flow is 60 million, so it's not a low flow stock. It is tradable. Thank you. So these guys missed earnings. Looks like, yeah. So this is down quite a bit.
Well,
Obviously,
and
go ahead.
beyond that, they're doing the exploration of strategic alternatives, which is never really a good thing. It's kind of double talk for either a sale or bankruptcy or something. Like my business isn't working. I've got to find something else to do with it.
Oh, it's just a very nice fancy terminology. I would have never picked that to be bad, right? Sounds so good. So,
Yep.
as you can see here, they're definitely not doing well. So this will be a good one to watch today. We don't have shares for sure. At least I do not have with CME. But again, you can tell here this is a nice big drop down 21.5. So we'll keep an eye out for that. I thought there was one more
They've
here.
also
Go ahead.
Hilti also makes a good point. They've got a massive short interest, something over 40%. So,
Wow.
yeah. So
Yeah.
that's why you don't have any shares for short as well.
Yeah, I definitely will do it. So you can see here, I thought there was another one here as well that just popped up and disappeared. I can't see it now, so we'll be on the lookout
It
for
was
this. It
Square.
was Square. Okay, thanks, man.
Yep.
Excellent. So let's see what Square is up to. Square has been taking a huge hit. Look at this drop we had the last couple of days, right? It's just kind of massive drop here. And obviously the sell-off from the SPY as well affected the stock, I'm sure. So now they're up 2%. Not a lot of volume, just 115,000 shares traded so far. Pre-market activity is pretty nasty, but this is typical for SQ. SQ tends not to have the greatest pre-market activity, but I do expect we're going to get some volume as we get closer to the open on this one today. And again, it's going to be an interesting day because we haven't talked about the SPY, but we'll get into it in a second. I'm just going to go over the NASDAQ active, NASDAQ gainers, and then we'll get into the news with Norm and see what else is going on besides talk a little bit about the sell-off yesterday. So here we have AMD on here. We have already, again, tons of volume, 4.2, up 3 point, almost 3%. So we'll keep an eye on that one. TVIX volatility index, as you can see, obviously the SPY's been selling off and this has been selling up. QQQ, NASDAQ ETF, TTO penny stock trading under $1. Not really much going on there. Yes, it has some volume, 30% up 30%, but it really is not really something that's really tradable with our type of strategies, right? They're better traded when the stocks are above usually $5 is like what you really want to look at for our type of style of trading. Apple here, very active this morning. Wow, 828,000 shares traded, a lot more than what you usually see from Apple right off the gates. But you can see here is up 1.1. Again, same pattern, guys, we've been seeing, right? This huge drop here the last couple of days, and then the bounce back here from this level here that you probably was, yeah, it was resistance at one point and some support before it started slowly grinding higher. So let's remove some of these levels here on Apple, but Apple looks interesting. Also, the pre-market activity looks great on Apple as well. So it's got some good pre-market activity. Apple is definitely one to watch this morning. NASDAQ ETF, LPTX. Also a penny stock, guys, really trading under $1 for the most part, under $2, and not really anything tradable here. And also look at the pre-market activity, right? It's just not anything exciting with these drops and these weird candles. So we'll skip that one. SLS, we know it's a penny stock, usually not tradable. Same with TRNX, so we're not even going to go there. Now, NASDAQ active, NASDAQ gainers, EVER, EVER is up 27%, but no volume, only 9,000 shares traded. Not really anything exciting going on there. Lone, LONE, 145,000 shares traded, up 21%. Does not look like a low flow the way this is trading. So let's check the float on this one. Yeah, it's 24 million shares flow. So it is somewhat tradable. What I don't like about this one at the moment is the pre-market activity, right? So the pre-market activity is not looking all that great this morning. But the daily chart does look interesting, though. You have a nice daily chart here coming down, testing some of these levels and kind of just coiling up into this point here and then bouncing up today. But the pre-market activity is not looking great this morning. If that gets better, guys, throw it out back to us. But right now, it's not looking all that great. IEA, same situation here. Not a lot of volume, only barely getting to 60,000 shares traded. It is up 17%. But again, just look at the pre-market activity also. Just two things are not looking great, which is the pre-market activity and also the volume. Next we have on here PODD. So PODD is popping up as 12%. So it's got a nice percentage here, a nice pop. But the volume is very low, only 1,900 shares traded so far. So not anything that looks great. Just wanted to see what's the float on this one. PODD. 59 million shares float. So it is tradable. It is not a low float. But right now, just the volume in itself is just not there. Pays, no volume. Let's get that one. RMTI, same situation, no volume, only 4,800 shares. Then we have TTWO. So TTWO, this is one we traded before in the past several times. You can see here we have plenty of levels when we had this this trading area over here. So today they're up quite a bit, 7.5. These guys have any news today, Norm? A 7 point. We usually don't look at the news of the Nasdaq gainers and active, but this one I know we traded before quite a bit. So they're up today 7.5. They had a huge red day yesterday, obviously, like a lot of stocks did with the whole market sell-off. But I do like this bounce back. This bounce back looks good. What I don't like about it is the pre-market activity, though. This is not great, and the volume is not great. So two things are not all that great at the moment.
Yeah, they had earnings last night, and they came in over estimate. So that's what's popping them this morning.
All right, excellent. So
it's not much. I'm surprised there's not a whole lot of volume on it, though.
Yeah, I'm shocked with that the volume is so low, but because this should have a lot more. But again, this here yesterday probably did a lot of technical damage on a lot of stocks, and I guarantee you a lot of people like myself are gonna wait before we take any type of trade. We're gonna be very cautious today.
Yeah.
Because again, you can have all the technical levels you want, and if the market decides to dump like it did yesterday, you can just throw everything off the wall, right? It doesn't matter what technicals you think you have, what levels you have. When you have that type of massive movement, you know, it can throw you off. And Norm, maybe you could talk. I didn't trade yesterday, but you could talk a little bit about, some of the people trying to catch reversals and how dangerous that is in a second. So LRX also here, penny stock, not really tradable, no volume. HJLI also not much going on here. And last one, FRNA, also no volume, no activity. So this is what we have so far. We're going to come back to this gappers list, guys, because I know there's going to be more stuff creeping in slowly in here. But right now, let's get into some some news and announcements, see what we got going on, and then we'll come back to you guys and see what you guys have on your end.
Yeah, so obviously, end of last week, President mentioned additional tariffs coming out. Then over the weekend, Chinese mentioned some retaliatory tactics, and their currency, the Chinese yuan, was devalued to a point at which it hasn't seen levels in a very, very long time. Strategically for the Chinese, the 10% devaluation of their currency essentially negates a 10% tariff. So consumers in China and other people wouldn't see a difference. So yesterday, in the middle of the day, the U.S. Treasury Department labeled China as a currency manipulator, which they haven't done to somebody, I believe, in like 25 years. So it's just kind of going back and forth in this trade war stuff right now, and causing the massive drop we saw yesterday. Like you said, people kept looking for reversals yesterday. When you see a day that weak and that much panic, it is, and I mentioned in the room, it's not that it's impossible to maybe find a reversal at some point, but trying to get a reversal just because you think things are going to bounce because they're so low can potentially destroy you. There was really no reason for a reversal unless some kind of additional news came out. You really had to watch and wait for confirmation to see if something was going to turn around and reverse. So yeah, it was, you could have just taken a short position at the open and ridden it all day to the close, essentially. It was a pretty hardcore sell-off. Last night, after the market had closed and everything in the evening, futures were pointing to an even bigger decline this morning than we had at the open yesterday. That has reversed a little bit. They actually went positive, but that's come back about half. So it's going to be an interesting day, very volatile. It's important to watch setups and look for confirmation on things, and don't just throw a dart and try to hit something, because it's going to be very difficult in a market environment like this, in my mind. Or very little at all. And additionally, we've still got some stocks giving earnings this week, but the number is slowly diminishing. Can't remember exactly how many. There's 300 plus today, tomorrow, a little under 300 Thursday, so it'll start to dry up pretty quickly after that. That's what I got.
All right, excellent. All right, guys.
So, yep. And one of the things that popped up on the gappers that somebody mentioned here is Puke, P-U-K. That's just 3 block trades. That's not even worthy of being on the gappers list. We've also traded Puke in the past, and it trades pretty much like its name. So
yes, yeah, this is not trade well. And you could tell also by the daily chart. If you I'm not sure if it's a foreign stock, but it trades like a foreign stock. Look at how gappy it is. It's not really a clean, tradable stock. So, all right, excellent, guys. So let's go to what you guys have on your end. What do you guys like this morning that's not on here so far? What do you guys see? Norm, I know we have Apple definitely want to watch today.
Yeah, and Apple, Nvidia, Roku ran like crazy tomorrow, so it should be interesting. Roku was one that bucked the market just a little bit yesterday. Didn't really trade in line with the market. So that might be interesting to watch, see if it continues that today. I'm still looking. As you know, I got in a little bit late to the room and to my news. So I'm still looking to see what we've got.
Okay, excellent, man. So so Roku, yes, that's probably one of the few stocks that ended up green yesterday. Again, just kind of shows a little bit of the strength this stock has been over the last couple of weeks, months. It's just been on a tear. Yeah, you have these drawdowns here. This is a big one, but overall, it just bounces right back, continues to hit newer highs. So I believe also these are all-time highs as well. We're hanging out around 113 or so. So the daily looks interesting, man. It's back up above this prior resistance and support. Right here. It's back up above that, so this could be setting up for another run. But again, no promises. Just the way this is setting up looks good, though. The fact that it was able to close green yesterday on such a huge sell-off could be interesting to keep an eye on for a possible play later in the mid-morning. So here, what do we have? Something else popped up, MNK. So let's see, MNK is popping up in our gappers. Not much going on. Not sure why this was on here. Volume is only 65,000. Nope, sorry, that's Roku. Hold on, here we go. MNK. All right, that's better. All right, so 28,000 shares traded. So it's up slightly above 2%. It's back down. But again, not a great pre-market activity, guys. Looks like a block trade though here. I'm not seeing great pre-market activity on MNK right now. So we'll come back to that.
MNK is a foreign stock out of the UK. Its chart isn't quite as ugly as most foreign stocks. But that having been said, having watched it on the list before, I personally don't find it very tradable.
Yeah, you can see here the last couple of days too. Look how nasty he's been trading, right? It's just not really clean patterns on the daily. You have some good dailies over here. See, it happens sometimes when some stocks go from one price range to a different price range completely. For example, when it was trading between 24 and 21, it looks like you have a nice clean daily chart. But then here you come down below 10, and it just gets really nasty, right? So it was difficult to trade here, and now here looks like it's even worse with this type of daily. So, but again, just look at the pre-market activity, guys. Not seeing much that I would like on here. Let's get to the chat here. So we have JD. Let's check out JD. JD also nice big drop here, a little bounce back. 110,000 shares traded so far. Slightly above that. Again, we have a lot of stocks that are going to be slightly above this 1.9. That are going to start creeping into here. So this thing, I expect this to get very big because a lot of stocks are going to bounce back and they're going to be over that 2% just because of the sheer massive sell-off yesterday, right? So this one here, JD, not much pre-market activity right now, but JD is known for having a horrible pre-market activity, and on some days when it is in play, it's going to give you some really good moves, right? It reminds me almost like a small AMD, or it can be very choppy that first 15-20 minutes. Once it settles in, it can take off nicely for a beautiful trade when it is in play. When it's not, it's probably one of the most choppiest stocks that we have ever looked at in our list. So be very careful today. But again, the pre-market activity not looking all that great. We can throw it on here just to see if it gets better, but not looking too excited on the pre-market at the moment. We have Snap. Snap also coming here into the gappers list. So at the moment, Snap is down 2.2, 594,000 shares traded. Daily looks, look at the daily, how it's just nasty the daily is. Look at this flatness here, completely flat. It just looks like almost some algo trading. But if you look at Snap, it doesn't move much. It does look like here like it wants to sell off and possibly lose this moving average. Also have a level right on here as well. So interesting to see what is going to happen there. But again, just Snap is one of those stocks that is very, very difficult to trade, and it doesn't move a lot once it opens up. Now you have some days where this happens, right? I remember this day, it gapped up nicely and it just took off immediately after the open, never looked back. So that was unexpected, but usually for the most part it trades this way. So we'll see. We'll keep Snap on here. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, what's funny is, so this IPO'd at 17 bucks a couple of years ago, year and a half ago or whatever, and so it's finally made itself back into that range of the IPO price when it opened. I believe it went up to, I don't know, 24 or something like that, and I think this is about the first time it's actually reached in the last couple of weeks reached that level again.
Yeah,
it reached that level once in like Feb of 18, but it, other than the very beginning, and then it plummeted. It's back to that price, and it's acting strangely again right around its IPO price.
Yeah. So again, just will be interesting to see what happens here. For me, it looks, I'm a little short bias on it, but again, you just never know. You gotta see what the price action gives you this morning. All right, guys. So that's what we have on Snap. TSN moved yesterday. TSN.
It's not doing much today.
TSN, yep.
They had earnings yesterday, which is a catalyst for them. They're trying to get in the meatless meat market. So.
All right. So what? Oh, sorry. I'm trying to do TSN and BYD.
Yeah, well, you combine Beyond the Meat.
Yep. So Beyond the Meat here. Let's see what we got. Again, just kind of consolidating here. It looks like it might be ready for another pop, but this stock is so crazy, anything can happen. So we'll see. Not much activity right now though. It is up 2%. It will be hitting. See what I'm talking about? This will be hitting the scanners very soon, as soon as it goes above 100,000. But the pre-market activity is not great yet. And when you have so many stocks like this, guys, it's very difficult to find the ones that are really in place. So you got to start being picky with based on what you know, right? You know, BYND has a crazy ATR. You know, it can be very difficult to trade. So this is one you just gotta take off your list and keep the ones that that you're more comfortable with and have as much as possible the best pre-market activity, the best volume in price action. So NPTN, did we look at this one? NPTN, let's take a look. NPTN, this one is 204,000 shares traded so far. It is up almost 17%. I don't quite like the daily, guys, on this one. I just don't like the way this is setting up here. The pre-market activity is not looking great neither. It almost looks like a smaller lower flow stock. Yes, it's not. It's 40 million shares. But again, I just don't like the way this daily is setting up here, guys, at all. It looks very choppy to me. Yeah, they're up 17%, almost 203,000 shares traded. But look at this activity also, how not clean this is actually right from here. So I'm not sure on this one. All right, so we have that TSN. Oh, TSN, we talked about TSN. So here we have some levels on TSN. Wow, huge pop yesterday on TSN, but right back down here. So not sure what he wants to do. But again, just like Nora mentioned, pre-market activity not looking great on TSN at all. SHAK, we'll do a few more, then we'll get into some announcements and get some support and resistance. On here, SHAK, no volume, guys. Only 16,000 shares traded right now. It is up 3.6. It looks like it is consolidating here on this daily chart, but I also don't like the way this daily is. It looks very, very choppy here, right? So again, just not sure what it wants to do here, but I see what you're looking at. It has a nice resistance right here around above the 76, 77 area. If it can break out, that could go for a nice little run. But again, just a daily chart on this one, and the volume right now is not anything too impressive, but could be a good one to watch later on today.
Yeah, this one IPO'd not too long ago. It was last year or so. It's got a relatively low float at 27 million, and the ATR is $2. So it's a fairly decent sized ATR, low float. Just I don't trade SHAK because of those factors. It's a little volatile.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, look at this thing's. Yeah, it's on a tear, but yeah, you gotta be very, very careful with this. I wonder how the spread is also when at the open. Right now, it's not too bad, 30 cents, because we're pre-market. But I wonder how the spread also is when this thing opens up. So, all right, the next one we're looking at was what did I have up here? PSTG. PSTG looks like one that we looked at in the past. We got several levels here from previous pre-market shows. Right now, wow, huge pop. Oh, but there's no volume though, so it's popping up nicely. But then you look over here, it's only 10,000 shares traded. Can it get better at the open? Yes, it probably can. You can see we traded before around this area when it had gapped down and just kind of been consolidating for the last couple of days. Sold off here, and now we're bouncing back up. But again, we're bouncing back up with really no volume at all. So
look at the spread on that, Carlos.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Yeah, exactly. So you don't want to be involved in this, guys. I don't see
$1.34.
Yeah, I don't see
on a $13 stock.
That is very, very dangerous. What is the float on this, by the way? SPTG. Alright, so it's a larger.
It's a good size.
Yeah, it's a good size flow. But again, guys, not anything pretty exciting on this one here. Alright, we'll do one more, and then DISCA, they dropped earnings, no volume yet. All right, so no volume on this one yet. This one we looked at in the past, guys, and I never traded it. I don't know, something about it, but it's just one of those stocks that I don't know, I find it very difficult to trade. So we have looked at this one in the past before, but like you mentioned, no volume right now, but it could be a good one to watch later on to see if anything reacts. ACB loan, we looked at loan. ACB here, guys, is give me 1 second. This thing keeps unlinking. ACB. Here we go. ACB has a good pre-market activity. You can see here a nice little pop with some good volume, 972. It is up 7.4 this morning. So yeah, ACB does look interesting. We can throw this on here. All right. And loan, just because we did look at it. So loan, I didn't like the way loan was setting up, guys. I'll show you why, and then we'll get to announcements. So this one wasn't our gappers list here. So the second one on our gainers list, I'm sorry. But I just don't like the way the pre-market is setting up. We do have a little bit of volume, 155,000 here. It is up 25%. But that's not a lot. That just seems like a lot because of the price action, right? So going from 230 last night over to 290, so that's going to create that percentage pop. But the pre-market activity, it's just not looking great on this one. So I'm going to stay away from this one today. All right, guys, let's get to some quick announcements, and then we'll head over to find some support and resistance. Again, I think this is going to get very big, so we just got to be picky on the stuff we watch today, and then wait to see what the market's going to give us as well, because it's going to be one of those crazy days I expect.
Yeah, so there's not a ton of announcements going on right now. The Dr. Brett Steenberger interview with William, Robert, and Andrew is currently being edited. Should be completed soon and released for your viewing pleasure. So keep an eye out for that. And Trade Ideas is currently offering one of their few times a year where they give a very, very discounted rate. Essentially, you're only paying for the data which they have to pay to the exchanges. You can get a 1-week trial for $8.99. There's a link up in the alert section that ADeals put up. That is available, I believe, till August 14th. And then Bearable Trader's been nominated for the Benzinga FinTech Awards. Best financial literacy tool. If you like the content that we provide, the morning show, the chat room, all that, we would love to have your vote. You can vote one time per day per device. With the link that ADeals put up, it literally takes less than 5 seconds to vote. So there is that. Next Lifetime webinar is going to be this Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. There's a link to the forum section to put your questions in. And that is all I have today, Carlos.
All right, excellent. All right, guys, let's get into it. We got quite a bit here. So starting with Baba, very active this morning, 274,000 shares traded. Going to remove these levels, get a little cleaner view here. So I'm going to take this one off my list. But if you are going to watch it, you already got plenty of levels. You got a nice previous day close down here. You have the previous day low all the way down here. Obviously, with the SPY selling off, you're going to see a lot of this. We're going to see this pattern quite often on some of these stocks we're watching today. You could mark the high of the pre-market sitting at 158. So when we drop that down there, see what it does now. It's trying to hold these moving averages. Hopefully can get back above that 158. Then above that, you have the highs and low from the two trading days ago. Here you can clearly see that around 160. And then above this, you have some moving averages. You have some moving averages here as well. I like this one here. This 166 is nice because it's also very close to where this day had closed. And also, if we go back, I'm seeing some days using that area as possible resistance right on here. So that could be a good one if it can break out of all these resistance. I don't expect for Baba to do a move like this, but again, anything is possible depending if the market can give us some help. Then towards the bottom, you can see the price action sitting right now in a very nice area of support and resistance right in here. So again, we'll see if it can break out as 158. Towards the bottom, I like to mark one in between here also. You got several levels right on here at 155, right? Because from where the price action is now all the way down to the previous day close, that's a big drop. So at 155, that could give you, that's $2 away from the price action, give you an area of where you can see some resistance or loss of momentum. So that is BABA. I'm going to remove it. I just don't like the way this one trades. AMD is looking very nice here. Lot of activity, 4.8 million shares traded so far. We have some levels in here already. So towards the top, you got the high and lows of the last two trading days here and here. So I don't think we need to add any more on this area. Towards the bottom, if we decide to even go back down, the low of the pre-market is sitting at 27.15. So I'm going to mark that down. And look how 27.15 also was resistance over back in June. So that's good there. Right now, AMD is kind of struggling with this 29, right? Trying to get above this 29, which also 29 was the low from 2 days ago, right? 2 days ago, you see the low here. That would have been Friday, actually. So the low is there. It's fighting against that. See if we can get above that. But again, it's got a lot of volume, good activity. This for me, sometimes I do consider that some stocks at the open have way too much volume, and it creates massive volatility. So when I see something like this, I know the open is just going to make it even worse. You want to be very careful when you trade it, especially if you're trading it before the 5 minutes. You know, try to wait that 5 minute and see if you can get a good opportunity on AMD. GSKY. So at the moment, GSKY is down 22.5, down quite a bit. Let's get some levels in here. Not sure if I'm going to keep this one yet because the pre-market activity is not looking all that great, but I do love this drop here. So we're down 778 is the low of the pre-market. If we go back here, see if we can find some areas of support and resistance. Looks like we do around November, December area. We do have some levels on here. So a nice clean level at 861 for possible resistance towards the top. They got a consolidation on here. I don't see anything towards the bottom. Let's go back and see if we have something towards the bottom. Or are we at all-time low here? Yes, we are. So nothing else towards the bottom, guys. We're sitting at all-time low. So above the price action now, you have 861. In this consolidation here, let's try to find the best day possible, because again, the previous day close is sitting at 1038 and we're at 804 in the price action now. I believe if this thing does want to go up, it's going to find some resistance along the way. So I like this one, 946 here. And the reason I like this 946, you have several days opening and closing around that area. So I'm just going to draw a line right at that 946 so you can see it. And then although we're stuck in the consolidation here, you can see how hard of a time it's having getting above that 926, right? Which is a huge time. Every time it goes above it, sells right back down. Sells down to this 861, comes back up one more time and still cannot get across this. Finally breaks out of it. But again, it's just a very hard time getting across that 946. So I'll be looking for that area if we do bounce back to have some kind of loss in momentum at least. SQ. Let's go back to SQ here. I'm just going to remove some of these levels that we had on SQ. So SQ at the moment, again, you have this drop here. Pre-market activity looks like it's trying to get a little bit better here. So it's starting to get some movement here. 178,000 shares traded so far. As far as levels, we have the low of the pre-market sitting at 65.39. So we'll mark that down. Above the price action now, you have the low from the last two trading days, Friday, right? So you have that low there already. I would like something in between here, because between this low and this high here, that's quite a bit of a stretch. I don't think SQ might make that move, at least not right away at the open. So if we go back and I can see an area here, we can possibly have a good level of support and resistance. So you have this day here, you have several days here opening and closing around that area. 68.52 could be a good level to have. Towards the bottom, I think you have plenty, guys. I don't think SQ is going to continue to drop like this. But just in case, you can mark down this area here, 61.99 and also 60.22. So plenty of levels on SQ. Let's go down to Apple. Apple, again, just nice bounce back on Apple today with some really good volume, about to crack 1 million shares traded. High of the pre-market is sitting right at 196.65. I think we might be heading up to test at least one more time. Towards the bottom, you got the previous day close, the low from yesterday. And if we were to ever lose that previous day close and the low of the pre-market, we have a level at 190. And we know 190 has been an area of resistance in the past. I mean, Norm's been tracking this stock quite often. At 190, 191 area, we've seen a lot of movements and a lot of changes in directions, right? So we'll be looking out to see what happens there. I don't think we're heading back down unless something changes. This stock is looking very strong. But again, as usual, no bias. Let's see what the market open gives us. So TTWO, I like the daily chart. I'm surprised it doesn't have more volume. Still only 20,000 shares traded. High of the pre-market 124.49. The low of the pre-market sitting at 123. So you got those two levels on there. Then you got plenty of levels, highs and lows from the last two trading days. So don't really need to add any more on here. This one I'm going to remove just because right now the activity is not looking great. So I'm just going to get rid of this one for the moment. Nvidia right now also seems to be bouncing back a bit as well. Looks like it's going to go ahead towards the high of yesterday. Above that, we have a nice moving average here at 157.60. So I'm going to mark that down very close to this area here as well. So we should be on the lookout for that. Towards the bottom, previous day close and the low of the pre-market sitting right on it. So you got those two levels. And if we were able to lose the previous day close plus the low from yesterday, which we have here, the next clean area could possibly be this 147. So this 147 here could possibly be the next area of support if we were to head towards the bottom. Does not look like it wants to do that now. Right now, pre-market activity not looking all that clean, but it does look like it wants to hold here and continue this bounce. Roku has a great daily chart. Love the daily chart here, and it's again was able to hold yesterday with everybody else selling off. So that could be a good sign of strength. It is above back on this previous day close. If you look at this previous day close line, you can see how important that line has been for Roku, right? So you can see resistance on here, breaks out, tests the resistance, then pops up, comes back down. Once it loses the resistance, then the support, then it comes back down all the way down to its levels. On the way back up, it loses momentum around this area one more time, tests this support, and then heads back up. So it's in a good situation, I think. High of the pre-market right now, sitting at 104.55. So we'll mark that down. And if we get towards the top, we have another level here about 107, and clearly here 111.72. So, but I'm not going to keep it now because, again, there's just no volume. But I will be looking for this one on my turbo breakup scanners, which I think could be crazy today. But if I can spot Roku, I'll definitely tune into it. Next we have Nvidia, JD. Let's see what JD is up to. JD's pre-market activity is just not looking clean, guys. So I'm just going to remove it. At the moment, I think it's just not looking the best right now. Snap is a stock that I just don't like to trade. It could be great today, but it's just a stock that for me personally, I just don't like the way it trades. But you do have some good levels towards the top. Don't need to add any more. Previous day close, highs and low from the last 2 trading days, all in here. You got some moving averages as well. Sitting right now at a very nice area of support and previous resistance. So you have resistance here, support in this area, support even yesterday, right? Even with the sell-off, it comes right back to this level and sells back up. So that's good. It's holding that. Towards the bottom, if you do have shares for short, you have an area here at 1554. You can see several days banging their heads out here before it goes up and then comes back down. So that could be a possibility. But again, me personally, I'm not going to watch Snap this morning. This was not a complete stock, so remove NP. And then ACB is very active, guys. Now 1.1 million shares traded so far. We do have some levels. Let's see if the levels that we have, how current they are. So we have 671 here, which is basically half the pre-market. We have a 703, which seems to be like a good level as well. And previously we had 734, which also seems to be a good level. So these levels of previous support and resistance look great now for where the price action is at. You can see how these levels that are already marked here, you can see how they were placed before, and it clearly can be used even now because the price action is still within that area. And then towards the bottom, guys, you got plenty highs and lows, previous day close. You got some moving averages as well. So I don't think you really need to add any more to ACB on here today. So out of all the pre-market activities, ACB's probably got the best one so far. So it's very clean here. It's got some good volume. So we'll see what we can get out of that. No, I take that back. Apple's up there too. Apple's pre-market activity is very nice. Some good clean volume. And actually, I prefer Apple over ACB any day as well. SQ is starting to get going. Let's see if we can crack the high of the pre-market here. So see if we can do that. 6701 is the high of the pre-market. GSKY is bouncing back a bit here. Volume starting to come in, so we'll see if we can get a nice pre-market activity out of this one. And AMD is really trying to hold this moving average and get above this 29 level, having a tough time there. All right, guys, that is what I have. Norm, do you see anything else you like this morning?
No, not really. I'm going to have my eye on the scanners. I'm going to be very patient today. It's just a feeling, this bounce we're getting this morning. I don't know if it's real, so I think a lot of things are going to move with the market like they did yesterday. On my eyes open to see what's going on as far as that goes. I'll pretty much have the same list you do, focusing primarily on my top 4.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's one of those days where you got to really sit and wait. I think a lot of technical damage was done yesterday with the SPY selling off like that. So today people are going to be patient, right? They're going to wait to see what direction. Is the market going to go in a direction? Is it going to consolidate and go sideways? Or are we going to get a bounce, right? Again, one rule that we have, guys, because it's so easy, like Norm mentioned earlier, to get stopped out several times trying to catch a reversal, trying to catch a move that it's just not ready to happen. One of the rules I have, if I get stopped out 2 to 3 times on one stock or trying to catch a reversal, trying to do something that's just clearly not working out, immediately take a break. Stop. Look at everything else. Look at your entire watch list. Go for a walk. But just don't continue to do the same thing over and over again if you keep getting stopped out. Because sometimes, like Norm said, or the saying says also, you can, anything can stay irrational, for a very long period of time. You don't know how long can something stay irrational before you think it's going to bounce back or do what is expected based on our technical experience, right? That can all go out the window. So just be very careful today. Let's see what the market gives us. MU, someone mentioned it here. MU is bouncing back as well. Kind of looks like AMD at the moment. Yeah, MU could be one to watch. Throw MU on here. We'll keep that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, that's more than enough. So I watched 7 today. I'm probably gonna take one more off once we get closer to the open and decide what we're going to keep. All right, guys. Trade safe today on YouTube. Take care, and we'll see you guys tomorrow, 8:30 Eastern time.
Take care, guys. Trade safe. Thanks for joining us.